Okay, sign number, order operation. This is not difficult, but if you don't know the rules and you don't follow the correct order, you can make a lot of mistakes. And even though it was really simple, I decided to do the first one because there's a couple of traps there. This is one of them. You might be tempted to do 5 plus 3, but you have to do multiplication first. And then also, people get stuck here. You could always put a little 1 if you ever see the two negatives together. This is really -1 times -7. So this is multiplication and this is multiplication. So they have to be done first. The 5 has to stay there and the plus has to stay there. 3 times 2 is 6, -4. Now -1 times -7 is +7. Then you have a +1, then you have a -9. Now this is where I recommended in class, people will ignore me. Don't do these 2 at a time. Take all of the numbers that are plus and add them together. So you have +5, +6, +7, and +1. That's 11, 18, 19. You have 19 positives. You only have 2 negatives here. And again, you have to add them together. 4 and 9 is 13, and you keep the sign. Now you just subtract them. 19 take away 13 is 6. I mean, it's very simple. It's easier to add than it is to subtract. This is why I add everything together first, and then I subtract only at the very end. All right, you add up the pluses, you add the minuses, then you subtract. Now 3 has a lot of traps. You could mess up the signs here. You could also do 6 minus 3 first. There's a lot of little mistakes. I want to point out that if you do the 21 and the 3 wrong, I see a lot of people putting 18 or a -18. It's 18 is divisible by 6. And also, if you did 6 minus 3 and got 3, 18 is also divisible by 3. So you're not going to know if you did a mistake because it's all going to divide. When the signs are the same, you add the numbers together and you keep the sign. Now again, division beats subtraction. You cannot do 6 take away 3 until you've done this division. So you divide this first. A negative divided by a positive will be a negative. 24 divided by 6 is 4. Same sign, you add the numbers, you keep the sign. If you lose 4 and you lose 3, you lost 7 altogether. Okay, so those are 2 of them. You keep trying to do them 2 at a time. Okay, 2 more of them. Number 4 is not that bad, but you have to split it up. And again, there's mistakes that can be made. I'm going to deal with this fraction first. And I'm going to evaluate it all the way down until I see what number it comes out to. Then I'm going to deal with this. So I have to do 5. Now, you're taking away 3 squared. The mistake is to see the -3 squared and just do -3, it's +9. But you are taking away 3 times 3. So you're taking away 9. So you have to do that power. It's not this. This is +9 because you're doing a -3 times a -3. So this is not the same. So you have to do the power first, which is just 9, and subtract that from 5. And then on the bottom, you still have that -2 there. So now you're going to do 5, take away 9. You are losing more than you had. So you're going to subtract these numbers, and you're going to keep the sign of the larger number. My 9 looks a little funky ass there. There you go. Better. And you still have -2 on the bottom. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So this whole piece came out to 2. Now, you might want to distribute this. But my teachers told me how to distribute. But if I'm not letting you use a calculator and you do 8 times 9, 17, and then 8 times 9, 18, without a calculator, I mean, I wouldn't want to say you're a dumbass, but I can't think of anything else to say. So you have to follow the rules. What is the rule? The rule is to do parentheses. You must compute whatever is inside the parentheses. These numbers go together. 9, 17, take away 9, 18 is -1. And you are going to multiply this by the number that's out there, right? The parentheses means times. You can put the little dot to help you remember. So you're really doing -8 times whatever ends up in there. What ends up in there is -1. So -8 times -1 is a +8. So all the way at the end, you're just doing 2 plus 8, which is +10. All right, so it's not that bad. And just keep track of the signs. That's the number 1 mistake. People mess up the signs. They mess up the signs here. They mess up the signs here. They mess up the signs here. So all sorts of crazy crap. People will subtract these and tell me -9. It's not subtraction. It's multiplication. This is multiplying. So you don't subtract them. Now, many people get number 6 wrong. That's why I'm doing it. It's Very easy to just go 8 minus 4 right off the bat. But remember what I said in class, and if you look at the list of the rules, subtraction goes dead last. Everybody beats subtraction. Everybody. So you have parentheses. You can't violate the rule, right? You're going to take 4 and multiply it by whatever number this turns out to be. So you're going to jump inside the parentheses, and then you're going to follow the order rules in the parentheses. In those parentheses, I see addition and I see a power. Addition is last. So you have to do the power first. You cannot just do 1 plus 3 and then do the power. You have to do 3 squared, which is 3 times 3, which is 9. Then you can add them. Now, this is where people screw up, so you got to be careful. 1 plus 9 is 10. It's very unfortunate that a lot of people get this far and then they completely blow it and do 8 minus 4. But it's 4 times 10, it's 40. I mean, you are doing 4 times 10. You're doing negative 4 times 10. Remember, you have subtraction, you have multiplication. Who wins the battle? Multiplication. You have to do that multiplying first. It's just, you can't violate the order because then you're going to have the wrong number. Now you have $8 and you spend 40. You owe 32, right? You subtract the numbers and you keep the sign of the larger one. When you subtract 8 and 40, you make a 32. And you keep the negative because you lost more than you had. Right? It's a very easy problem to get wrong. Be super careful on that one. Okay, I decided to do 7 and 8 because 7 has this issue that really messes people up. Most people don't screw this up, but people screw this up. And again, it's worth talking about the second time. This is -3 times -3. But as soon as I take away those parentheses, it's not. This means -1 times 3 squared. You have to do the power, right? Power has come before multiplying. You're multiplying 3 squared times -1. So that's exactly what this is. This is -9. And I see a lot of people put a +9 there, but it's not. Now here, again, you might want to hop the fence with the power on. You might want to distribute. You cannot do that. You have to shut the power off. You have to do that power. So 4 times 4 is 16. Then you can multiply. So you have a positive 32 here. May as well add these together. Remember what I said? Add the negatives. Add them. Same sign. Add them. So you get 18, 9 and 9, and it's negative, right? If you spend 9 and you spend 9 more, you spend 18. Okay, they're both negative. If you put the wrong sign here, it's over. So 32, take away 18, positive 14, right? That's easy. Subtract them, keep the sign of a larger number. You had $32, you spend 18, your change is 14. And, if you can't figure out your change, don't go spend money. Now, I'm only doing this one for one very simple reason. It's not a hard problem. I'm going to figure out the bottom of the fraction first because it's ridiculously easy. You have 2 negatives, 8 and 9 when you add them make 17 on the bottom. So if you owe me $17 and you pay me 3, you owe me 14, right? So -14 on the bottom. That's the easy part. Now on the top, you have a parentheses and you have 5 divided by 5 in there. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And a lot of people tell me, but they cancel out. Yeah, they cancel out. They make a 1. 5 divided by 5. If you had $5 and you split it among 5 people, what? Each person gets nothing. People were telling me in class that this is 0. I said, no, it doesn't work that way. I'd like to see that if you have $5 and you're going to split it among 5 people, they each get 0. I don't think so. They each get $1, right? That's dividing $5 among 5 people. So, but on the top of this fraction now, 6 plus 1 is 7. And you're taking away 7. So on the top of that fraction, you get a 0. And this is where people get confused. They don't know what to do. 0 on top is okay. If you have the wrong number on the bottom, by the way, right? This problem's worth, say, 2 points. You will lose a point if you put the wrong number here. You will also lose a point if you don't tell me what this is equal to. If you tell me that it's undefined or it's BS, it's not. You can't divide by 0, but you can certainly have 0 on the top. This is just 0. 0 divided by any non-zero is 0. All right, so I expect to see this. I expect the correct number here. And I expect you to know that that fraction is equal to 0. I'm going to do the one we get to 0 on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to do 11 and 12. And I didn't really want to do this many, but I'm going to anyway. This question, a lot of people screwed up. The first screw up that I saw was the top. Again, you see the double negative here. You can put a little 1. You don't have to. But this is -1 times -5. You should put the 1 there so you understand that you're multiplying it. So that's really -9 plus 5. I saw many people tell me 14 minus 14. I mean, I saw all sorts of screwy crap there. So you have to be careful. So it's, you owe me 9, you pay me 5, right? You subtract the numbers. The difference between 9 and 5 is 4. You subtract them and you keep the sign of the larger one. All right, so that's on the top. Now the bottom, be very careful with the bottom. You do M and D from left to right, whichever you hit first. You don't do D first. Sometimes it comes first. So, but in this case, the M came first. So you have to do 3 times 2 first. Well, you know what? I'll put it down here. I was also supposed to do this power, but I'm gonna do this first. I'm just gonna go left to right. The power is supposed to go before this, but it doesn't matter when you do it in this case, because this is not connected to these two. You're adding this, so I can do this all the way at the end if I want. 6 divided by 6 is 1. Now I'm going to do this. I have -1 to the 3rd. And yes, people told me that it was 3 or -3. 1 times 1 times 1 is not fucking 3. All right. No matter how many times, I don't give a shit how many ones I give you. When you multiply them together, you make them 1. Don't be a dumbass here. All right. This is ridiculous that you tell me that you multiply -1s together and you make a 3 or something else. This is not acceptable at this level. All right. You're in college. So 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. These two negatives make a plus, right? You have 3 negatives. Every 2 negatives make a plus. So those 2 make a plus, and then you have an odd one out. When the signs are different, minus. So this whole thing turned out to be a 1. This thing turned out to be a -1. So on the top of this fraction, you have -4 for sure. But on the bottom, you have 1 take away 1, which is 0. This is the one you can't do. You cannot divide -4 by 0. I mean, what are you going to put here? What do you multiply by 0 to make a -4 or 4? Really? Anything you multiply 0 by gives you 0. So this is complete nonsense. You cannot, there's nothing you multiply by 0 to make -4. It just doesn't work. So this is the one that's undefined. This you write BS. And I'm telling you, write BS. Don't write undefined. Don't write D&E. Don't write undef. Write BS. Bogus solution. All right, so I'm doing the last one because 1, it's a good question and it's got a lot to it and it's easy to screw up. And 2, there's one just like it in the homework. So I want you to see one worked. Now, there's 2 fractions. Now, since I haven't yet taught how to add and subtract fractions, or even how to multiply, divide fractions, and, you know, obviously we'll do it, but, you know, I must make these divisible evenly. So this first fraction, you do 2 to the 4th. That's what 2 to the 4th means. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And you divide that by 4. And you got to hope to hell that this divides. And it will. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8, right? Keep doubling it. 2, 4, double it again, you get 8, double it again, you get 16. So this fraction turns out to be 4. Now I just need to figure out what this one is. So again, I'm going to do it nice and careful. I'm going to keep this minus sign there, right? You are subtracting whatever this turns out to be. I better hope the top of that fraction is divisible by 10. And it will be. I mean, I'm not going to put like a 12 there or a 15 or 7. Right, it's got to be divisible by 10. So it could be 10, it could be 20, it could be 30. It needs to be divisible by 10. So you just do the powers. 3 times 3 is 9. You are going to take away 1 times 1, right? That's what 1 squared means. It's 1 to the 2nd power. Minus, now again, be careful inside the parentheses. -4. You owe me 4, you pay me 2. The signs are different. Subtract the number, keep the larger sign. You owe me 4, you pay me 2. Now you owe me 2. Now you have this, right? The 10 on the bottom stays. Keep that minus. You can do 9, take away 1. That's fine. 9 take away 1 is 8. A negative times a negative, right? -1 times -2 is +2. Now don't worry about this negative. This negative is, you're subtracting. Let me write it further down. It's not bothering anyone. right? You're going to subtract whatever this number turns out to be. So 9 minus 1 was 8. Negative times negative is plus 2. You still have 10 on the bottom. But 8 plus 2 is 10. So this fraction that you started with turns out to be 10 over 10. And again, 10 divided by 10, you have $10. You're going to split it among 10 people. Everybody does not get 0. All right, it doesn't work that way. When you cross them out, it's 0. No, you cross them out, it's 1. 10 divided by 10 is 1. So you just get 4 minus 1, which is 3. Okay, so that's it. It's none of this is difficult, right? This isn't even real math. This is arithmetic. But you have to follow the correct order and you have to watch those damn signs. Remember, it's the number one mistake I see in every course I teach is sign errors. So just be very careful and take your time when you do them. And good luck.